Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the ninth edition of the Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture. We will start with the traditional lighting of the lamp, and I would like to invite our guest today, Mrs. Sunita Aaron, our President, Ms. Zareen Vikaji, Ms. Amrita Das, Mr. Ajit Das, Ranjit Das, and the family, Kavita, to please come and light the lamp.
कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना.
I would now like to request Mr. Ajit Das, Director of ICS, to welcome our guest, Mrs. Sunita Aaron, with a bouquet of flowers. To deliver the welcome address, I would like to invite Ms. Zareen Vikaji, President of the Awadh Educational Society and Awadh Girls Degree College.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Sunita Aaron, our keynote speaker, Amrita Das, founder director of ICS, the entire Das family, Principal Beena Rai, Secretary Manager of the college, Professor Nishi Pandey. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this 9th edition of the Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture. Every year I have to find different introductions to Amrita's frenzied looking around for very good speakers, and she always manages, as I have said so often, to pull the rabbit out of the hat. This time, instead of going here and there and looking there and here, she found a very good speaker right at her doorstep. And we are very honored to have Sunita Aaron, who has had a distinguished career in journalism, to speak today about Auntie Gypsy as I knew her, and of course, whatever else she has to say about her profession, motivational, however. Mrs. Das, whom Dr. Pandey will introduce at leisure, but this much I must say, that she was, to me, while she served on the committee, while she was my mother's very dear friend, while I had several interactions with her, she was really a friend, philosopher, and guide. And apart from the fact that she achieved humongous amounts, which you will get to know immediately as Dr. Pandey takes the mic, but what was remarkable about her, I used to enjoy greatly, was her sense of humor. And her sense of humor was almost as weird as mine. So we used to really enjoy interacting. And I think it is very, very sort of deserving that she should have a memorial lecture each year. And when Amrita suggested that we should institute such a lecture in the college, we jumped at the chance because Tehreem Das served on the managing committee for many years. And she was very motivational while she served. So all the dignitaries who are here today, all the students who are here today, I am very happy to welcome you all to this, the 9th edition of the Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture.
As Manager Secretary of the Awadh Educational Society and the Awadh Girls Degree College, it is my privilege to read to you the introduction to Mrs. Tehreem Das. Born on May 9th, 1935, she left us on June 25th in 2014. Tehreem Das started her lifelong voluntary social work as a young member of the YWCA in Delhi at the age of 15, attending leadership training programs and workshops on education, women, and development conducted by the YWCA of India and Delhi enhanced her understanding of these issues. She married Amarjit Kumar Das from the Indian Police in 1954. Until her husband's retirement as the first Director General of Police of Uttar Pradesh, she devoted herself to welfare work for the families of policemen as Secretary and then President of the Police Welfare Association, which had 70 centers across the state. From 1975 to 1980, Mrs. Das was the founder executive director of the Center for Women's Studies and Development of the Isabella Thoban College, Lucknow, a member of the consortium of 9 centers under the Asian Women's Institute. During this time, CWSD established and integrated rural development projects under which rural women were provided literacy and education, healthcare services, sanitation and hygiene, and were educated about their rights. She participated in several workshops organized by the Asian Women's Institute in Penang, Malaysia, Singapore, Bangkok, Hong Kong, Seoul, and Tokyo, where she presented papers on themes relating to women's empowerment. As president of the Lucknow YWCA, she was instrumental in expanding its rural development project. She also established the Cheshire Homes in Lucknow and was the founder president for 8 years. She served as the chairperson of Mother Teresa's co-workers who facilitated the missionaries of Charity Lucknow with the management of 3 homes for destitute and terminally ill patients, a TB hospital, and a leprosy center. She was successful in getting 30 acres of land for the project with the support of the government of Uttar Pradesh. This is the largest piece of land the missionaries of charity have in the world for their noble work. Mrs. Das was president of the Family Planning Association of India, Lucknow branch for 6 years and vice president of a large rural project known as NIRFAD, Naujil Integrated Rural Project for Health and Development in Mathura, where 118 villages are being developed by this NGO. She was also on the management committees of the All India Women's Conference, the National Council for Women, and the Awadh Girls Degree College. A keen sportswoman who won prizes for cricket, badminton, tennis, and table tennis, she was the president of the UP Women's Cricket Association in the 1980s. She also enjoyed playing the piano and was a gifted singer. I would now like to invite Dr. Amrita Das, founder director of ICS, to introduce our speaker today.
Our esteemed chief guest, Mrs. Sunita Aaron, Honorable Ms. Zareen Vikaji, Honorable Mrs. Nishi Pandey, Honorable Professor Dr. Beena Rai, distinguished members of the board, faculty members, guests, and very dear students. On behalf of the Institute for Career Studies, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all today to this 9th Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture. I'm delighted to see so many friends of my mother in this august audience, and my brother Ranjit, who surprised us. He's the director, Nath Valley School, also a great educationist. He flew in specially for this day today. So I would like to give you a little bit of background of the role my mother played in the founding of the Institute for Career Studies and how we conceptualized a memorial lecture in her name at the Awadh Girls Degree College, which she served as a member of the board right till the very end. So when I'd come back from my doctoral research work in London, I had an idea. I was always interested in education, but I wanted to do something different. And I shared this with my parents, that though there are lectureships lined up, I want to set up something where we'll be able to guide students to make the right choices. It is my mother who within moments said, "Why don't you call it the Institute for Career Studies?" So I said, "But mummy, this is such a big name for just an idea." And she said, "You will grow into it." So today, ICS is a global entity, it has an all India presence. And students, my message to you is dream dreams, follow your heart. You will grow into realizing your vision. And the reason why we have these talks is to have extraordinary ladies from different fields come and talk to you about their journeys, because one day, if you really have that vision for yourself, if you really decide on what your purpose in life is, what your swadharma is, all of you will grow into that particular thought and purpose and make it happen. So now I would introduce our distinguished chief guest, who's also a very dear friend, Mrs. Sunita Aran. Let's welcome her with a round of applause. Mrs. Aran started her career as a staff reporter with the Hindustan Times in 1982. She was in her 20s. She remembers the interview she faced. The first question was, "What would you do in a state where dacoits run the show?" Her simple reply was, "Pick up the pen and not the gun." And I think that's so brilliant. And ever since then, she has wielded a very powerful pen. She exemplifies the best practices of ethical, non judgmental, impartial journalism. So much so that she can approach any leader from any party and they are well happy to speak to her. There were very few women journalists then, and being a woman was a disadvantage. Moreover, she says, journalists have to be both passionate and fearless to survive the profession, especially when you're in the northern belt of the country. The journey from 1982, the same year her son was born, and you'll find that throughout she balanced her professional life with her home life so beautifully. It was perhaps the most challenging as she traveled the length and breadth of the state, covering massacres, the Temple Mosque dispute, violence in the state assembly, elections, social issues, poverty, all for the National Daily. Once the Lucknow edition was born in 1997, her administrative responsibilities grew, and as a chief of bureau, she started guiding the budding journalists, trying to instill in them a sense of responsibility for society. In 2001, she became the first woman resident editor of an English daily in North India. "Let me admit," she says, "I actually smiled that day." It's very important for all of us to celebrate our successes. We must celebrate our successes because that is so empowering. She was later elevated to the position of the executive editor. In addition, she was a chairperson of the in-house Sexual Harassment Committee of the Hindustan Times in the North, and presently she is a consulting editor because the Hindustan Times does not want to let her go. During this period, Mrs. Aran has written three books. Winds of Change, Akhilesh Yadav, Ballots and Breaks, The Game Politicians Play, and The Dynasty, Born to Rule, which is about dynastic politics. Under her leadership, HT, in its endeavor to highlight the achievements of women working in remote areas of the state, started organizing HT Women Achievers Awards in 2011 and continued this till 2017. Then a cause was added to it by highlighting issues that emotionally, physically, and socially affect us most. Besides raising the issue of acid attack survivors, trafficked women, abused children, rape victims, under her leadership, HT gave them a platform to share their pain and trauma. For the first time, acid attack survivors walked the ramp, sang and danced on stage, and abused kids and trafficked girls narrated their stories. It woke up the government to take action. See, her pen and the events with her pen really made the difference. She Rose, cafes run by acid attack survivors, became a reality. It was conceptualized by her. Let's give a big hand for that. That's what women empowerment is all about. Mrs. Aaron is also a TEDx speaker and has anchored shows on television and stage. She has traveled extensively, twice as the guest of the US government under their exchange programs, and got an opportunity to write on South Africa and Iran. Mrs. Aaron has 2 children, both in the creative field. On the home front, too, she and her family are deeply committed to social causes. They celebrate their birthdays at Drishti, the home for abandoned, physically, mentally challenged children. They believe that it's not enough to give them gifts. One must spend time with them, sharing their pain and happiness. Another thoughtful family practice is keeping a piggy bank at home for a social cause and requesting friends not to bring gifts on festive occasions but to drop some money. Whatever they wish that. When full, she takes it to Drishti. And last time when she took it, she said to me, "You should have seen the excitement of the kids when they broke that beautiful piggy bank, saw the money pouring out, collected the money, counted it with help, and decided to have pizza." There's so much more about Mrs. Aaron, which I'm sure you will get to know as she speaks. Once again, on behalf of the Institute of Career Studies and AGT, Awadh Girls Degree College, it's such an honor and privilege and pleasure to have you with us. I now invite you to deliver the 9th Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture, a signature annual event in loving memory of Mrs. Tehreem Das. Thank you.
I never take any piece of paper with me, but today I had to. It's very, very difficult when your friend calls you chief guest. Well, with her blessings, I start. It's in a random order. Dear friends, Ma'am Zareen Vikichi, Professor Nishi Pandey, Professor Beena Rai, members of my extended family, Amrita, Kavita, Ajit, Ranjit, and Sunita, who's not here, members of the teaching fraternity, students and staff members, and all the dignitaries, most of them are my friends. So a big, big challenge before me because I'm going to talk before my friends and talk about things which directly or indirectly are related to me. Now, delivering this Tehreem Das Memorial lecture is indeed a very, very special, emotional moment for me. I'm honored, I'm humbled. As I remember Gypsy Auntie, her love, affection, warmth, and welcoming smile every time I visited her home. She was a patient and intent listener, and I a chatterbox, having real life stories from my reporter's notebook. Often people talk about homes. They talk about the ornate walls, the Italian marble. They talk about the beautiful decor. but it's the people who make homes, like she did and like they are continuing to do. I quote a para from a book Amrita wrote on her grandmother, Premnath Dasji. Nina David was the co-author. She quotes her grandmother who said, years later, she would look back and say, how wonderful has been God's guidance and His hand on my doings. How blessed I have been in my children and their love. Everything is so small and insignificant in comparison. Again, I quote from the book. She believed that parents are such a bond between children and wanted to do what is best for them, that they might be good first. Please listen carefully. That they might be good first, useful next, and then successful from the world's standpoint of view. Perhaps Tehreem auntie would reiterate the same words for her children, as they've done her proud by becoming good human beings. Excellence follows from goodness, and I think we had the family here. She nurtured relationships. I'll quote Abdul Kalam here. Maturity is when you realize that parents are the only permanent people in your life. I'm saying it especially for the young people who are sitting here as our relationships are getting threatened. So I quote Abdul Kalamji here. Maturity is when you realize that parents are the only permanent people in your life. No man can protect you like your father. No woman can love you like your mother. Take care of your parents because they won't come back. I'll say like the time never comes back. Just think about it. Have you ever seen tomorrow coming? No. When it comes, it's today. A brief look at Tehreem auntie's personal achievements. As wife of state's first DGP, you have already listened to that. She strived hard for the welfare of the families of policemen. She started her social life, her social welfare programs at the age of 15. I want to specify on that. She did not grow in her husband's shadow. She had started working before that. He only helped her to flourish her work. I say this because generally contribution of housewives is negated. People never talk about it. They are homemakers. Fine. I think they do the best job. But I have problems when housewives stop dreaming for themselves. They only dream for their husbands and they dream for their children. They don't live their own life. They don't take care of themselves. So I feel that they should dream. You all will be housewives. If not housewives, career women. You have to take care of yourself before you think of taking care of the world. It all starts from home. Three areas of Tehreem auntie's keen interest were education, integrated rural development, and women empowerment. Can there be any light or wisdom without education? No. Can any country progress without its rural pockets progressing? No. And women empowerment? It's a day we cry, we celebrate, we calibrate, we connect. But yes, it still remains a dream. I'll talk about it later. Here I don't stand before you as an editor of a paper, but as someone for whom auntie had special affection. And that's what made me so emotional. I grew closer to her first and then to the family. I remember she telling me every time we had dinner, and I used to tell Amrita, Sunita has to be there. I learnt lots from her, watching her, talking to her. And what was it? How to live a happy life. There'll be highs and lows, there'll be problems, there'll be challenges, but you don't stop living. and you don't stop being happy. She loved food, and I'll share one day when we went out for dinner, and she was a diabetic patient, and she went and she called the chef and said, don't compromise on cheese, you know. So she took her insulin and then she enjoyed her dish. I hear so many people, I'm diabetic, I can't have this, I have to take my medicine. No, all these are there, but don't stop enjoying your life. She played cricket tournament. Can you ever imagine? That was the time, that must have been the time when she was very young, around 16, 17, when women were not allowed to dream. And she was playing cricket. Just think about the guts the lady had. She played piano not only at home when she traveled, and she saw a piano and she played for the people, and the people assembled and she brought happiness in their lives. And of course, for when Mother Teresa wanted a land, her word carried a weight, people donated it. Friends, there is a very interesting quote again. Just think about these words that I'm saying: friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend. They all end with end, E-N-T. Now look at the word family. It ends with I-L-Y. I love you. That's what she was. When I'm talking and remembering her, I think I would love to talk about life and death. Life, these are the two realities, and we think that we are the controllers. We can control our life and we can control our death too. But can we? We can't. We are strong enough to attend birth of a baby in a family and also death in a family. Same day. We accept life and death because these are the realities. I was looking at a clip with Salman Khan's father, Salim, I saw that he had a handkerchief in his hand and he was holding it like this, the two corners, and said, this is life, this is death. I drop it. The hanky drops. That means we don't. Think about your childhood, the young girls here. Could you ever maintain a timetable as a child, as a student? Every day I used to make a timetable and say, oh, these are my study hours, these are my this. No, we couldn't. All the executives sitting here, you maintain your diaries. How many times you are able to do that, fulfill that? No, because somebody else controls us. Death is a reality because I think the pandemic told us that it can come from anywhere, anytime, any place. Like birth, we can't decide in which family I want to be born, or which city, or which country. Otherwise, I think Ambanis and Adanis would have had crores of children. Everybody would have wanted to be born. And I would have wanted to be Sudha Murthy's daughter. So, when we can't decide that, we can't decide when the death will come calling on us. So, there is a time between life and death. That's the time. Again, we can just be the chief executive officer of that time. We can do our best. We can have passion, compassion. We can be hardworking. We can be honest. And we can dream. When I talk about death, I'm reminded about a person I met in Bombay, Mr. Pinto. He was working with cancer survivors in Tata Memorial Institute voluntarily. He didn't need money. He had a publishing business. So one day, I couldn't understand what exactly is he doing with cancer survivors. So I said, I would like to come with you and see what you're doing. And then we went, and there was a 18-year-old boy who was in his last stage. He looked so sick, I can't tell you. And Mr. Pinto went, he got up, he hugged him. Believe me, very few would do that. He hugged him and asked him, what's stopping you? The God is there waiting to embrace you. What is stopping you? And he said, what about my parents? He said, the same God who's waiting to embrace them is also waiting to take care of them. 2 days later, he died. Friends, in Varanasi, there is an ashram where people go and live waiting for death because they believe they'll get salvation, moksha. So they're given 15 days to die. You have to die in 50 days or leave the place. So they stay there, wait for death, pray for death, but it doesn't come because somebody else decides. So they are told to go back. But tell me, does moksha come by having our last rites there? Or does it come from the good deeds that we do? My friend, very senior to me, once asked me, he loves talking about Mahabharata. He said, have you read this particular chapter? I said, no. He said, why? I said, as a child, I went to temples to have prasad. For the simple reason, because I loved bundi prasad. And I thought, this Mahabharata and all, I'll read when the age will come. But my parents told me one thing, do good karmas. If you do good karmas, you have read all the scriptures, you have visited all the religious places, you have the blessings of God. And don't while doing good karmas, expect anything from anyone. So I believed and I'm 100% sure that I'll go to where people go and live there for moksha. So friends, we are neither the controllers of a life and death. We are neither the controllers of the time that we have in between. We only know that someone there, he or she, please, no gender discrimination there. I ensure that God is both he and she. Or if you don't believe, then nature, moon, sun, sky, whatever, they are the ones who control. So as CEOs, let's do good planning for our lives. Let's spend our life in the best possible way and do our best. I'll talk about opportunities and failures. Failures are bound to happen. I don't think so there is anybody sitting in this auditorium who has not suffered a setback. Success and setback, they come together. Girls, जो आप सपने देख रही हैं जरूरी नहीं है वो पूरे हों, बस सपने देखना चाहिए. मैंने सपना देखा मैं प्रधानमंत्री बन जाऊं, मैंने कुछ किया उसके लिए. मैंने सपना देखा कि मैं एक बहुत सक्सेसफुल सिविल सर्वेंट बन जाऊं, मैंने कुछ किया उसके लिए. और फिर हम कहें अरे ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता, आई एम नॉट केपेबल. नो, I think we have to dream, we have to work hard, and there is no. As for PM and all, you really have to plan and all that. But if you are more realistic in your dreams, I'm very sure all of us can achieve dreams. There'll be setbacks, no issue. There'll be opportunities. When one door closes, a window opens. What are you focusing on? The door which has been closed or the window which is opened? It's up to you. So I feel that all of us say change is the only constant. And if it is the only constant, then if we had a failure, we're bound to have success. Nothing can stop it. So girls, please, सपने देखो, बड़े बड़े सपने देखो और ज़रूर उसके लिए मेहनत करो. बिना मेहनत के तो आजकल कुछ नहीं मिलता. Be honest in your life, dedicated, disciplined. These are determined. कुछ D's हैं, इनको याद कर लो. One's deeds, determination. Don't remember. Discrimination also remember, because you have to fight that. So remember a few D's, and if you do that, I'm very sure success will be yours, and there'll be no reason for you to crib or cry or short circuit your life. आजकल तो ये भी बहुत हो रहा है. माँ ने फोन नहीं दिया तो चलो हम ऊपर चलते हैं. अरे भाई, पूरी जिंदगी तुम्हें पड़ी है, एक फोन नहीं मिला, आप चल दिए ऊपर. And without thinking how your family would feel about it. So my motto is learn from the past. This is what I have written myself. Learn from the past, live in today, and plan for tomorrow. And your learning continues till you live. And you can learn from a PN. You can learn from a neighbor. You can even learn from your pet. The only thing is that you should be alert enough to see the lessons coming from different quarters and adapting them, accepting them, because we are always in a denial mode. But if you deny everything, then you can't. What does happiness come from? Have you ever thought that people who are millionaires are not happy? There's so many people who are so powerful are not happy. Happiness comes from here. The bigger the heart, the bigger the happiness. Think about it. अच्छे कपड़ों से, डायमंड से खुशी नहीं आती है तो यहाँ से आती है, और दिल हमेशा अच्छी बात कहता है, आपको अच्छा गाइड करता है. Few examples again. We don't feel blessed because we have a roof, we have food, we are healthy, we are happy. Every day when I used to go back from my office, I used to see a rickshaw puller cooking food. It's pitch dark. He has parked his rickshaw near the Dilkusha garden and he lights, and वहाँ पे खाली एक फ्लेम, एक एल्यूमिनियम का पतीला और एक व्यक्ति दिखाई देता था. And once I thought कि every day I pass him, let me go and talk to him. I spoke to him. He said, आज हमने 20 रुपए बचाया, कल अपनी परिवार को भेज देंगे. He was so happy that it could earn enough to send 20 rupees to his family. And we still are unhappy. Aren't we blessed? There are children in Sonbhadra, and right now if you are following newspapers in Bangalore, where a glass of water is something they're dying for, and they're spending their salary on water, and we waste. Please, climate change, please, water. It's something which is going to be our biggest challenge, when we'll forget all our challenges. For one drop of water, we'll be fighting. So save water today, not later. There are lessons that I thought I learned from, and I would like to mention them. I met a lady, Mula Devi. She lived in a village somewhere near Revins, and she was one of our winner. When I called her up and I said, "Aapko आना है?" तो she said, कैसे आए बिटिया, 15 किलोमीटर तो पैदल चलना पड़ेगा, सड़क ही नहीं है, और फिर सड़क से I'll get some public transport. So I said, okay, can a jeep reach you? तो बोली हाँ, बड़ी वाली, वो उसने अपनी भाषा में बताया, वो गाड़ी पहुंच जाएगी. We managed a tractor trolley which could have reached her place, brought her to the road, main road, and she came. Now, it's not her journey. She came with her tin cup box and confidently walked into Taj Hotel. And you know what she had done? She was not a doctor, but she had saved 400 lives of infants, newborn babies, by traditional methods. When she got the award, I said, आप कुछ बोलेंगी? तो बोलती हैं, चीफ मिनिस्टर से बोलूंगी. हमने कहा बोलिए. तो in her language she said, लल्ला, एक अस्पताल दे दे, मैं बूढ़ी हो रही हूँ, बच्चे मर जाएंगे. Imagine. She mentioned about acid attack survivors, how it happened. They used to come to my office quite often. I became very friendly with Lakshmi when she had a baby and all. One day I said, okay, every time when we used to talk to them, we used to talk about their pains, कैसे हुआ, किसने मारा, क्यों मारा. And they must be tired of telling everybody I had a boyfriend and the boyfriend threw acid on me and then what happened. And look, acid attack, after that they go through, I I can't even explain, I don't have words to tell you the type of mental and physical trauma. It's not one surgery, they undergo multiple surgeries. So I said, okay, today we are not going to talk about your painful stories. Tell me what else you do. And one of them said, I dance like Madhuri Dixit. Then the other one, Lakshmi, said, I sing. I looked at them and I said, I'll try to get you some platform to perform. So when we had this, we announced our HT Women Award function. I don't know how, sometimes God gives you ideas. I wouldn't have thought about it. I said, why not give them platform here? We had Kailash Kher coming. And I said, these are the women who had to face so much of societal, oh, how she looks, the comments on their looks. So I said, they'll do the ramp walk. And we had placards made, I'm beautiful. And you won't believe me, all those girls with full excitement walked the ramp. There were girls holding their hand. And that day people really realized that they are human beings. They are not dead. They are living. They are talented. They have to be given some opportunity. And that day we opened a window. And we then, as HT, not me, as HT, we spoke to the government. And then this idea was born that they don't need, you don't have to just dolls. They need respect. They need dignity. And they can be entrepreneurs. And then Shiroz was born. In between, people did try to close them, but we fought. I had an argument with Rita Bhavanaji, who said they are not earning profits. I said this is not meant for profits. The government can make profits from somewhere else, but this is something else. Now that brings me to the day we celebrated yesterday. What does it mean for you, empowerment? Freedom? Freedom to do what? In this hall only, there was a girl who was sitting here, right there. She got up and she said, my parents, they're not very good. They discriminate between me and my brother. I said, how? She said, he can go out and stay till 12 in the night. I can't. That's it. This is discrimination. And I want to wear a short skirt. They don't allow me to wear that. So that day I had told her, please enjoy your freedom, but also be prepared for the consequences. Have you ever tried to analyze why sometimes girls get raped by taxi drivers? This is a very important thing, dear friends. अगर हम फ्रीडम सोचते हैं, रात को घूमना, छोटे कपड़े पहनना, सिगरेट पीना, शराब पीना, तो अपनी सिक्योरिटी का भी इंतजाम खुद करिए. If you are drunk and you have no control over yourself and you are sitting in a cab and the driver is looking at you, we'll have fun. Why complain then? So I think the security is something which we have to think about, nothing else. There are few facts before I end I would like to mention here. Okay. US never had a woman president. I remember this was long time back. I think when Hillary was also trying presidential election and I was there sitting in a newspaper office and I said, how about her chances? And the reply I got was that Clinton can win, Hillary can't. They don't accept women on the top. Till date, they don't have. But we had prime minister, we had presidents, we had speakers, we had chief minister. Still, our participation remained low. Why? I was always against quota because I feel that whether women or anybody, if given an opportunity, can perform. But unfortunately, it did not happen. quota which will be implemented. We have got it, but let's see when it is implemented. But what is the point having so many women leaders when they don't work for women? I think a woman should always help a woman to grow. That's the only way to achieve equality. All the men sitting here, no disrespect, nothing, no offense. This is what has happened in our country. Even women, Indira Gandhi did nothing. We have so many, I don't want to name them. There's no point, it's a long list. But they have not done anything. According to 2011 census, we didn't have one later, there were 943 women per 1,000 men in India. कम है तो आप डिमांड में हैं पर वो डिस्टॉर्ट हो गया है. What we are told is कि now they are 1,000 something. But I just thought, I really thought that the numbers have gone down because lesser daughters have been killed at birth. This is another reality of a life. I'm touching few issues this way, try to think about it. Gender gap in voters turnout is falling. 2019 was the one when their voters turnout was good. And see the difference today. Every political party is coming with women programs, welfare programs. You have to assert yourself to get your right. It doesn't come on a platter. It comes only when you tell them, okay, you better do it, otherwise we are not voting for you. This also explains the welfare schemes. But unfortunately, turnout, women voters are skeptical when there is a women candidate in the fray. I don't know why. Maybe their performance has been poor or whatever. And with all due regards to men here, a survey still says that women are still struggling to change attitudes of men at home. Friends, I think this is where women has to play a role. Now, the coming generations, men or women, I think all of them will have to do their own work, share their responsibilities at home, and this has to be taught from the time they grow up. Okay, there are some successes, like people say that a glass half, it is a very old cliched example. But yes, there are positives. But the challenge before women is technology. Don't stay behind, because that's the future of tomorrow. और अगर आपने टेक्नोलॉजी को नहीं समझा, फिर आप कहाँ हैं? Whether it's a newspaper or any other line, technology is something. And generally it is, I don't know why people believe that women and technology don't go together, despite there are few who have reached the heights, but still the majority is still not there. So I'm no professor. I'm a journalist. I write. I don't give lectures. Whatever I spoke from my heart. I was emotional, maybe a little disjointed. Forgive me for my faux pas. Whatever I've said, do think about it once. Don't, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because कहते हैं ना, अपनी गलतियों से इंसान सीखता है, दूसरों की गलतियों से नहीं. But whatever I have said, think about it once. That what do you want to do? And here I'll talk about when I spoke about that the girl who was sitting here and asking me about the freedom that she wanted. In another college, I met another girl who got up and said, "Ki I want to join armed forces, but my parents don't allow me." I said, why? She said, because they say that what the society will say, what the relatives will say. I said, rebel. If you are on the right path, you know how to persuade. I'm not, parents, please don't feel offended, but fact is sometimes we don't have to create obstacles. We have to stand behind them, support them, correct them, guide them. Definitely. But that girl, I said, the day you will wear the uniform, your relatives and your parents would salute you. So today you can afford to rebel. But rebel for the right things. That is very important, because if you choose the wrong path, nobody else suffers but you. I'll now end with a poem. Again, ये हिंदी में है. मैंने इंस्टाग्राम पे इसको सुना था, मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी और मैं चाहूंगी यहाँ पे लोग मेरे साथ उसको फील करके बोले. मैं रुक के मैं एक लाइन बोल के सेकंड लाइन. तू अपनी खूबियां ढूंढ, खामियां निकालने के लिए लोग हैं ना. अगर रखना है कदम तो आगे रख, पीछे खींचने के लिए लोग हैं ना. सपना देखना है तो ऊंचा देख, नीचे दिखाने के लिए लोग हैं ना. तू अपने अंदर जुनून की चिंगारी भड़का, जलने के लिए लोग हैं ना. प्यार करना है तो खुद से कर, नफरत करने के लिए तू अपनी अलग पहचान बना. भीड़ में चलने वाले तो कुछ करके दिखा दुनिया को. तालियां बजाने वाले. थैंक यू.
We've had a very engaging session. A lot for you people to learn. आप सबको सुनने समझने के लिए बहुत कुछ है, सोचने के लिए. कोई प्रश्न अगर मन में है तो आई एम श्योर सुनीता उसको आंसर करना चाहेंगी.
Ma'am, I would like to know what were the challenges you faced as a journalist, because journalism is considered a male-dominated field, and how did you overcome those challenges?
You know, मेरे को ऐसे लगता है जब एक प्रोफेशन में आप आते हैं, वो कोई भी प्रोफेशन क्यों ना हो, आप मेल फीमेल नहीं रह जाते हैं. चैलेंजेस सबके सामने होते हैं. टू टेक एडवांटेज of the circumstances because you are a woman, you lose respect. I never ever told my editor that I have a 6-month-old child whom I have to leave home, because I thought it is my responsibility to make arrangements for the care of my child while I'm away. I'll give you a small example. It's a very interesting kissa kahani. One fine day, there was a massacre in UP, and one fine day, that day I got a call from my editor, Sunita, rush to some place in Ottawa. I said, okay, I'll go. I managed a car, taxi, and I left. After 4-5 hours, I reached the place, not where the incident had happened. This was the first challenging reporting that I did in my life. So I went and I met the SP. He was looking very haggard and he had not slept whole night. Naturally, I don't know how many people had died. The houses had been burnt. So I said, he looked at me. I said, hi, good afternoon. So he said, yes. I said, I'm so and so, and I want to visit the place. Can somebody guide me? Because before that, I tried to locate the place. I couldn't. He looked at me and said, what? आप वहाँ जाना चाहती हैं? मैं कहा, this is what my editor has told me to do and I have to go. He said, आपको पता है आप कहाँ जा रही हैं? मैं कहा, मुझे पता नहीं, but मुझे जाना है. I was very young at that time. Now, because errands are well placed, so he didn't argue and he said, which car you have? I said, I have the time-tested Ambassador. Those days, Ambassador used to be there. He said, that can't take you there. So I looked at him and said, why? It's such a sturdy car. And then he gave me his jeep, Jonga or whatever, and some cops who carried arms. And I was surprised to see so many of them. I said, chalo, ja rahe honge, duty pe ja rahe honge, chalne do. So I sat in the front and he started. I think after 15 minutes, I said, where am I? Because there was no road at all. And the jeep went right, the jeep went left. And I could touch, the ground. And I said, where am I going? And then we drove through somebody's house. I said, ये कहाँ जा रहे हैं भैया हम? पीछे से वो पुलिस वाले ग्रम्बल कर रहे थे. They kept on grumbling and then one of them said, मैडम आपके ऑफिस में आदमी काम नहीं करते हैं जो आप आई हैं. तो मैं कहा, भाई मुझे कहा गया, मैं आ गई, तो आप हमारे बंदूकें संभालिए, हम तो गिरे जा रहे हैं. मैं कहा, मैं भी तो गिर रही हूँ. I can't. So we somehow reached the site. It was right on the Yamuna bank after quite a bit, and I was virtually in tears. That day I thought I wouldn't see my little baby home. There was so much of bodies, and I belonged to a family where my parents never showed us death. I came face to face deaths. I saw all that in my professional life. And then I spotted a woman, and a very smart woman in a good cotton sari coming down. I ran, I hugged her. She was Subhda Mishra. She was the home minister at that time. She comforted me, and I came back and I wrote my story. So friends, challenges to हर तरह के आते हैं. कई बारी silence and humility helps. Another small example before, I don't want to take a lot of your time. It happened because this is very important for all of you to learn from it. We had a person writing a column for us in our newspaper, and he wrote about the army commander. Generally, we don't write about army and army commanders and all that. That army commander had illegally occupied a place in Kant area. So the day this appeared in the newspaper, I had about 7-8 vehicles coming one by one, and my PM came running to me, Madam, आज तो पूरा घिराव कर लिया. He couldn't understand. I said, किसने घिराव कर लिया? And then I said, and then they walked into my cabin. I offered them chairs. I said, बैठिए. So they say कि we have come here with this, in connection with this report, and we want you, first thing they said was, we want you to carry a corrigenda. I said, it's a column. I can't carry any corrigenda. Well, that's what the army commander wants. But that's what the rule is. If you want a corrigendum, you have to give it in writing. It's a column, written by somebody else. I have to send that corrigendum to him, and he will go through. He claims that he has all the papers. They tried to browbeat me, all that, and they said, would you like to have coffee with the army commander tomorrow morning? I said, it'll be a pleasure. That day, when I drove down, and without anybody, I did not take anybody from my staff. When I drove down to his office, I thought silence will be the best weapon today. Don't talk, otherwise you'll create some problem. So I went there, and you can imagine how the uniform has its own respect, its awe, fear it creates. The army commander was there. I was taken to, with all due regards and all that army style. And I was made to sit right in front of me, and all around me there were officers. There must be about 12 of them or 15 of them. And he started with, how are you? My wife had a very bad morning, he said. He loves reading your paper, but it was a bad morning. I said, I'm so sad. I'll talk to her. Why did she have? I tried to. To cut it short, we had a lot of arguments, and I just insisted that it's what the procedure is. I said, you have 3 options. Give me a corrigendum. We'll publish it with, go to the court. Hindustan Times will fight it, not Sunita Aaron. Or you can go to the ombudsman. When he thought that I'm not budging from my stand, he said, you are really, you don't know my contribution to Indian Army and all that. I said, yeah, I know about your contribution, but this is also a reality. Now you're retiring. We have given you so much of publicity. You can become a neta. I said that and walked out. Few months later, those guys had gone to the court. He lost the case in the court. And that's the day when I wrote a big piece, narrating everything that had happened. And I said, HT stand vindicated. So,
Ma'am, my name is Neha Sharma, and I would like to ask you that what has been your most challenging interview?
challenging interview.
Yes, ma'am.
I think Kalyan Singh, when I asked him about Kusum Rai, his girlfriend,
What
and he
answer did you
answered.
get?
He did
He
answer.
did answer.
And the last one was with Yogi, who doesn't usually accept questions that are not of his taste. When I asked him, you say that आप सब कास्ट के लिए काम करते हैं, but people call you a Rajput Neta. How do you feel? I could see he didn't like it, but politicians, they are so smart. Where they use a journalist, the journalist doesn't come to know about it. He gave me a big answer. Yes, I'm proud to be born a Rajput, and about Rajputs, something about the clan. And then he said, but as chief minister, I work for all. So we had done a Facebook live also, and we did it in print also. And because the interview was doing very well, so the Delhi office was, putting it again and again, again and again. This is how social media works. It was going viral. So this AAP guy who's in jail right now, Sanjay Singh, he picked up a clip, a small clip where he says, I'm proud to be a Rajput, and circulated it. So naturally, the PMO was not very happy, and I started getting call from the CMO office कि आप इसको contradict करिए. I had gone to a friend's place. I said I got about 5-6 calls immediately. मैं कहा, how can I contradict it? He has said it. It's there on the media, and it's social media. We have published it, and you would see what we have published. So they said, no, Chief Minister is very upset and all that stuff. Then I said, okay, I spoke to my editor, and he said, Are you manage it? Yeah, UP is such a messy thing every time. So then I said, okay, I'll manage it. So I told my social media team, online team, कि आप उतना clip मुझे दे दो, where he had said and a complete clip. And then we again put it, and I told the CM office to now circulate that and all that stuff. But the real story I got to know later. I thought I was so proud of myself. I think मैं पूछ सकती हूँ योगी जी से भी. And few days later, when I went to invite him for my son's wedding, my daughter-in-law she was also there, and my son was also there. So he said, और आप भी इनकी तरह कलम चलाती हैं, कुछ ऐसा कहा. तो somehow the discussion came on that interview. And then he tells me, आपको पता है वो हमने इंटरव्यू में क्यों जवाब दिया था? I looked at him. आपसे ज़्यादा हमें कोई क्रेडिबल बंदा मिलता नहीं जिसके ऊपर कोई वो नहीं है, स्टैंप नहीं है. दूसरा, ईस्ट यूपी हम पहुंच रहे थे, वहाँ पे राजपूत का पॉपुलेशन बहुत था और हमने किसी को टिकट नहीं दिया था, इसलिए हमने ये बात कही थी. I said, I thought I did, but he used me. So politicians are too smart for us.
Thank you. That was interesting. I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Beena Rai, Principal of Awadh Girls Degree College, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me. Good afternoon. Our chief guest, Mrs. Sunita Aaron, President, Mr. Rinvika Ji, Management Committee, Awadh Girls Degree College, Professor Nishi Pandey, Manager and Secretary, Awadh Girls Degree College, Dr. Amrita Das, Dr. Kavita Das, Dr. Ranjit Das, Mr. Ajit Das, Dr. Noor Khan ma'am, and all the distinguished guests, faculty members, media, and dear students. On behalf of the Awadh Girls Degree College and Institute for Career Studies, it is my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks as we conclude the Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture 9th Series, a lecture dedicated to honor the legacy of a remarkable individual whose life and work continue to inspire us all. It gives me immense pleasure in extending our heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for gracing this event with your presence. Your enthusiastic participation has made this event a memorable one. Through her dedication and tireless effort, Ms. Tehreem Das left an indelible mark on our society, and today we pay tribute to her enduring influence. Our grateful thanks to Mrs. Sunita Aaron, author, consulting editor, and former executive director of Hindustan Times. Her insights and experience are sure to enlighten and inspire us as we reflect on Ms. Tehreem Das' legacy and complete the importance and education in shaping the future. We thank you her for her taking time out from her busy schedule in delivering such an inspiring talk. I would like to thank Ms. Zareen Vikaji, President Management Committee, अवध गर्ल्स डिग्री कॉलेज लखनऊ. आप हमेशा हमें प्रेरणा देती हैं. I would like to thank Professor Nishi Pandey, Manager, Management Committee, Awadh Girls Degree College. I would like Dr. Noor Khan, Assistant Manager and Treasurer, Management Committee, Awadh Girls Degree College. It is my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Amrita Das, Founder Director ICS, Ms. Kavita Das, Director ICS, Mr. Ajit Das and Mr. Ranjit Das. I would like to express my thanks Mrs. Anita Jain, Member of General Body, Awadh Girls Degree College Management Committee. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all distinguished guests and former faculty members, Dr. Bhatia, the Institute of Career Advanced Studies, for sponsoring the memorial lecture, and the technician team, all the camera persons, the media persons for being present here. I would like to thank my faculty members, my support staff, members of Students' Council, and dear students. Without you, ये प्रोग्राम कभी भी सफल नहीं होता. Last but not the least, I would like to place on record my earnest appreciation to all the members of AGDC. Ms. Tehreem Das. Let us carry her spirit, resilience, compassion, and intellectual curiosity with us. Let us honor her memory by embracing the opportunity for growth and learning that lie ahead. She was powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and brave. And now, I request to all the students, you are powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and brave. So, अपने सपनों को पूरा करो. हम महिलाओं के लिए सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हम आत्मविश्वास से भरे रहें और अपने उन सपनों को देखें, उनको पूरा करें जो हमें हमारे परिवार के साथ, हमारे समाज के साथ, हमारे देश के साथ, हमारे विद्यालय के साथ हमें जोड़ते हैं. और हम सब जो यहाँ बैठे हैं, जब हमें पता चले कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स इस फील्ड में अच्छा कर रहे हैं, एक पल के लिए ही हमारे मन से वो आशीर्वाद निकले, हमारे आंखों से वो खुशी के आंसू निकले, और यही सपने निकले कि हमारा हर एक बच्चा अपनी हर एक फील्ड में अपने उन सपनों को जिए, उनको पूरा करे, जिससे हर वक्त हर किसी को खुशी दे सके और समाज को अपना संपूर्ण सकारात्मक योगदान दे सके. एक बार आप सबका फिर से एक प्रिंसिपल के रूप में आप सभी का धन्यवाद यहाँ आने के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच.
I would now like to invite Ms. Kavita Das, Director of the ICS, to propose a vote of thanks.
As we conclude this inspiring Tehreem Das Memorial Lecture, I'm honored to express our deep gratitude on behalf of the Institute for Career Studies. We extend a heartfelt appreciation to all our esteemed guests present today, our chief guest, Mrs. Sunita Aaron, Ms. Zareen Vikarji, Professor Nishi Pandey, Professor Beena Rai, members of the AGDC Management Committee, faculty, students, and media representatives. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Mrs. Sunita Aaron for delivering such a powerful and inspiring message. Your insightful talk, replete with wisdom, has truly resonated with all of us, leaving a lasting impact. Your presence and participation has made this event a truly memorable and enriching experience for all of us. To express our appreciation, we are delighted to present Mrs. Aaron with a specially designed chicken stool gifted by Mrs. Mita Das in loving memory of Mrs. Tehreem Das. We also extend our gratitude to Ms. Zareen Vikarji, Professor Nishi Pandey, and Professor Beena Rai for their unwavering support and present them with a token of our appreciation. Special acknowledgement to Ms. Pooja Ahuja, General Manager, Senior Career Counselor at ICS, for her creative efforts in designing the event material each year, as well as to Mr. Deepak Bajaj for his expertise in printing the backdrops and standees, Mr. Shubham Dwivedi for videography and photography today, and we also express our gratitude to the media representatives for kindly covering this event. Lastly, I want to express our earnest appreciation to all members of Team ICS and AGDC for their invaluable contribution to the planning and execution of this special occasion. I'm delighted to inform you that in keeping with my mother's vision of women's empowerment, the refreshments have been catered by Didi's, which runs a hygienic food service under the umbrella of Study Hall Educational Foundation. Didi's Foods is dedicated to empowering underserved, marginalized, and destitute women from low-income groups, thereby enabling them to a sustainable means of livelihood. Thank you.